Happy Tuesday! I almost forgot what day it was. I hope that you are having a great day, whatever day you wind up watching this. Well, let's see what the sun, moon, and star spread has to say today. It's kind of nice. Snow is on the ground, and it's not too cold this week. It's kind of cool. It's like feels very wintry. Okay, let's see here. We have the sun position, the moon position, and the star position. Oh, fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so we have two major arcana popping out. We have the Hanged Man in the sun position. That's what's being illuminated. And we have the High Priestess in the moon position. That's what's being released. That's really funny. And then we have the Ace of Swords in the star position, which is your guidance forward. I feel like this has to do with the full moon. I think the full moon's tomorrow. I think the full moon's tomorrow. So I was giggling because the Hanged Man in the sun position, like what's being illuminated, it's like this card is a card of enlightenment. You can see that his head is illuminated. And this card talks about you put yourself in a position to gain enlightenment, and you this is also like a card of solitude a little bit. Like he's like, I'm going to hang myself upside down from this tree to see things a different way, to like actually learn something, see things differently. So maybe in some area of your life, you are putting yourself in a position to be illuminated or enlightened, which is great. And I think it's funny that, again, this is like High Priestess in the moon position. The High Priestess is, I feel like, very related to the full moon somehow. But, I mean, she has literally a crescent moon here. Her crown is about the phases of the moon. So, very, I don't know, it feels very related to the full moon for me. So, High Priestess is a card of intuition and like a deep inner knowing. But when she's coming up in the position of what to release, I feel like this is saying you need to release this it's almost like stop thinking so much, although I understand that intuition is not the same as thinking, but she's very still, and it's like the only way that she has access to her intuition and her knowing is by being like very still. And so in the position of the release, I feel like this is saying you are actually going to maybe take some action for what you know to be doing, or you're finding another way of accessing your intuition that doesn't mean you're just staying still, right? It's like a lot of people, I've been listening to this podcast a lot lately about artists, and the past few episodes I've listened to, several of the artists have said something like an essential ritual that they do every day is some of them have to exercise. Some of them have to walk, which walking is an exercise, right? But it's like, and things come to them when they're doing something, right? So I feel like this is releasing whatever area of your life where you're maybe like, well, I'm just going to be very still and see what happens. It's like, no, like, use your eyeballs, see what's happening. Your intuition's there, listen to it, and then act accordingly, right? It's like, if you're seeing something different, don't just sit around, right? Especially with the Ace of Swords as your star position, your guidance forward, this is like a victory coming in. It's a gift. And I feel like this is related to you not staying stuck. You know, it's like, I love in Agatha All Along where Lilia says that the High Priestess is basically like incapable of accessing her power or something like that. And there's a little bit like that. It's like you have the power, but you're like, I can't access it. So that's what you're releasing, is you're releasing this sort of block to your intuition flowing into action, right? And I feel like when you release that, all these gifts start coming in soon, right? It's like when you start, God helps them who help themselves, right? So you're taking some action, you're acting on what's being illuminated, and then all of a sudden the universe rises up to meet you, gives you a little gift out of the air, gives you a little victory. It's like, here you go. Yeah. This is also, I will say, the Hanged Man is not a long-term situation, right? It's like he hung himself upside down so that he could gain something, and then afterward, he gets down out of the tree and goes about his life, right? He doesn't stay there for forever. If he stays there for forever, he turns into the High Priestess, where she just sits there all day like, I know everything, but she can't do anything about it. It's not really how we want to live life. For most of us, there are some people who are perfectly capable and happy doing that, but for the most part, we have to do things. I like this is where this is going, though, because that Ace of Swords is the guidance for it. It's like, yeah, you're doing what it takes to get that little victory, which is good. You have to put yourself in a position to receive the gifts, or expect the gifts. You have to expect the gift. Okay. God, I love these cards, but they just do not spread very well. But I did it anyway, it's fine. Okay. Here is the clarifying oracle card. And this is humility. And maybe this has to do with your change in perspective. And it's funny because it's almost the opposite. You see how this person's looking up, this person's upside down. Excuse me, but they're looking at the cosmos and they're saying, oh my gosh, this is so related to your change in perspective, because if you think about like humans right now, we're walking around and we're on our phones, or we're doing, our gaze is very much focused downward. Like when you're walking and stuff, it's very much focused downward. And so this person, it's like when you look down all the time, it's like you kind of get bogged down by things, right? But when you look up, you see, oh my God, like the clouds, the sun, the tops of trees, like, and then at night you might see the moon, you might see the stars, airplanes even, right? It's like there's all this stuff and you realize, wow, I am really, really small. And it kind of brings things into perspective, which Hangman is all about changing your perspective, right? So I feel like changing your perspective, maybe you've had this attitude of, I know everything, or something comes in and you think you know what it means. I had a conversation with one of my best friends about this last night where I needed to change my perspective a little bit. And then I was like, oh, that's not what maybe that doesn't mean what I thought I meant, right? Maybe I don't need to attach a meaning to every single thing that happens. And it kind of lets you be humble, but not like in a humbled way. You're just like, wow, like it really isn't that big of a deal. I don't have to freak out about it. And yeah. So yeah, it's like I feel like you're figuring out your place a little bit, which is really, really nice. Oh, it's also, again, it's very cosmic oriented, right? Like we have the moon stuff over here, the cosmos, 2 major arcana. I feel like it's a big shift. But that shift, right, allows you to receive more gifts from the universe. Wow. I hope that this was helpful or insightful. If it was, you can leave me a like, comment, or subscribe. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon.